So it's been a while since I've made a video about Topaz video. It's been maybe over a year now, and I guess you can say my passion for upscaling video has been reinvigorated due to some major developments in the software, namely the release of Starlight. It is a revolutionary technology. It is insanely what it can do with older footage and, with new footage alike as well. I'm going to talk about all that stuff later on in the video, including Starlight, how to use the software in general, how to use the more traditional models like Gaia, Artemis, Iris, and Rhea. I also want to talk about the Black Friday sale. Right now you can get up to 43% off if you purchase a new subscription to Topaz. I understand that a lot of people are frustrated with the move to the new subscription model, and it is I say it later in the video. It is what it is. This is what they're doing. This is how they're keeping the lights on. This is how they keep bringing this amazing software to you. As far as I've seen, I have not seen a competitor that can do what the software can do as good as this software can do. I know there are others, that claim to have good results, but I've seen them and the results are not as good. But anyway, again, get up to 43%. If you are considering subscribing and getting a new license for Topaz Video or Topaz Studio, or just please consider using my affiliate link. It'll be in the description. I get a small portion of every sale. It really helps me a lot. And let's continue with the video. So this is another exciting time to talk about some software that I been using for many years at this point. Used many different iterations of the software. So I'm talking about Topaz Video. This is also used to be known as Topaz Video AI. I actually have the older version in here as well. But now it goes by Topaz Video, and this is it. And I'm going to kind of talk about, how I use the software and why I think it's actually, really good and more compelling than it's ever been. We're going to talk about their current pricing a little later in the video, but for now I just want to concentrate on the software itself, and we can touch on that a little later. So for now, I typically like to start these videos by going through the settings or the preferences here. So I open that. I'm just going to talk about the stuff that I actually mess with, and that's it. I'm not going to just talk about every little thing. I have older videos that kind of talk about a little more in depth about what every little thing does. But I'm just going to talk about what I actually look at. I don't touch any of this stuff, really. The one thing I do touch is there's this processing area that now it's called a little section called AI Processor, and you can either have it set to auto or single. So as you can see in my system, I actually have that's actually a 5060 Ti, and this is a 3060. And you can set the max number of limit. I actually have it set to the 5060 because it's significantly faster than the 3060. The 5060 Ti, I should say, and this is a 16 gig version. So it's pretty stout and more than adequate for this kind of software. And 3060 actually does work fine. For the normal models like Gaia, Artemis, Iris, which I'll talk about later, Rhea, the 3060 is fine. If you want to get into like the new Starlight model, 5060 is a little better. It's about 50% faster than the 3060, which again, I will talk a little bit about like how long it takes to render a Starlight clip later on. You can set the max amount of memory that you want to allow the program to use. I have it set to 100. I'm typically not doing much more than this. And if you're not using a model like Starlight, if you're using a more an older model like the ones I just mentioned, you're not going to use all your video memory. So I usually have it set to 100, and I've been fine. I typically don't multitask a lot while I work on Topaz. Default settings is something I do actually mess with, and this I like it set to 24 megabits per second at H.265. H.265 is a pretty efficient codec, and if at 24 megabits per second should be enough. I've also set it to 40. I think 60 is a bit much. You can also use the dynamic one and just set it to high. You might end up with a rather large file, but you can always compress it later on with like Handbrake or something. But I like to just get it right from the get-go. And I typically don't process above 1080p, so 24 megabits per second at H.265 is fine. Default container, I usually audio settings, I keep it the copy, so if it was encoded with Dolby Digital, it'll maintain that. If it was Dolby, whatever it was, you know, DTS, it'll just maintain it. AAC, it'll just maintain input, you know, whatever the audio is, it'll just copy over the audio and then merge the video and the audio. And crash recovery, I keep these on. I actually saved my butt once when I was rendering a multi-day Starlight render, and something happened that the software, I think I was a little too aggressive with the overclocking of the GPU, and I think it crashed, but then I spun up the software again, and it just picked up where I left off. So that was pretty cool. It saved me like at least a day and a half of processing time, just to be able to pick up where I left off. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything that I mess with here. Alright, so let's mix it up a little. I downloaded this trailer of F1. Phenomenal time. It's just 1080p. So I'm going to probably, you know, use this a little later to show you how it handles 4K. But for now, I'm going to bring in a version of the trailer that I made that it's at 480p. And pretty, you know, rough quality. I mean, it's not terrible. I've seen much worse, but it's certainly not, you know, it's definitely blocky. The original file was almost 300 megabytes. This is 11.5 megabytes. So a significant drop in bit rate and, you know, obviously quality. You can look at the blockiness, and let's see what I can do with this video given the quality of this video. All right, let's see what Topaz can do. So I'm going to go ahead and immediately from the get-go hit enhance, and I'm going to change the resolution to 1080p. For this kind of video, I would not go above 1080p. But let's go ahead and try start with a face. Let's start with this one. And I always like, with faces, I like to start with iris. Iris is always good. It'll, you know, if you hover over it, it'll design specifically for face enhancement. So it's probably a good choice to go with. And in this case, I might keep it at low quality, but let's try medium quality first, but I'll probably end up going in a low. And let's hit preview here. Might be downloading it. So almost 30 frames per second. That was really fast. It's actually faster than real time. Okay, so we got, I mean, right there. I mean, look at the difference in quality here. I mean, yeah, the hair, there's still, I mean, look at that. The hair is almost like, you can't really make it out. It's like this blob of stuff, and here there's actually strands of hair, and it actually kind of looks like hair here. So what Topaz is doing is actually quite amazing. And this is at the medium quality setting. I could probably take it up a notch and go with the low quality here. Like, it tries to sharpen up the text on her shirt. The background is a lot better. This is all like blocky and bad. This is all at least like a smooth gradient here. You know, it's just better in every way. It's amazing what, you know, you can do with the software. But, you know, and this isn't even like Starlight or anything. Let's go ahead and try that again with low quality and see if let's just see what it does. Might have over smoothed it a bit too much for it looks a little plasticky here. So for this case, I kind of like medium a lot more. Let's find another part of the video. Maybe we got Brad Pitt here drinking. Here, here we go. You can see his whole face at least. Let's do that. Again, very blocky. I mean, this hasn't been processed. I'm going to use iris again here and hit preview, and it's still at medium quality. I mean, that looks, wow, that looks much better. Cleaned up the blockiness, the jagginess over here is gone. The shirt is all smoothed out here. If you look here, it's just, I mean, look at the difference. That is just, that's pretty significant. That is pretty good. Let's go ahead and try Rhea. Rhea is one of their newer models that I've occasionally used. It does use a little more processing power, so let's see what it can do here. And let's just hit preview. We're still at, actually let's take it up to 1080p again and leave it a square pixel. And again, this one will take a little longer, but it's not too bad. I'm using this computer as a 5060 Ti, which is pretty stout. I don't know. It's doing it over here for some reason. Let me. Well, actually, this gives me a good this brings me to another way that you can like kind of compare what two different models looks like. I mean, right off the bat, Iris meeting quality looks a lot better. This looks definitely a lot more smoothed out. It looks a little closer to that Iris low quality. It definitely does not look as good. It almost looks like kind of video gamey. This is Rhea, by the way, and this is Iris. You can see it up here. I usually keep this side to auto. You can already set this. You can set the original, or you can go. So you can trigger. You can switch from original, or you can do Rhea over here. Rhea auto. Rhea auto is not doing it for me over here. So let's go back over here, and let's try. I like Artemis. I've always liked Artemis high quality. Let's try that one at high. And let's see what it can do. I have a feeling that Iris is going to be the winner. More recently, Iris has been winning for me, and wow, this is not good. This is not doing it. So let me go ahead over here and do. Let's select 1080p and bring in Iris at medium quality and hit preview, and we're going to compare what the former champ Artemis high quality can hold a candle to this. I mean, this looks like it almost pretty much repaired the video. I mean, if you zoom out, it looks like 1080p all over and all over again. And I can switch back and forth. I can actually go here to these tabs here. This is showing me Iris, and then I can go to Rhea and then see original. And I mean, the difference is night and day. And then here we got Artist High Quality, which definitely did not do a good job. You can see a lot of this grid, some noise and artifacts that it inserted. It did clean it up a good amount. And if you zoom out, it looks okay, but it can't hold a candle to what Iris can do. So Iris is fantastic. Again, really good for faces. Let's try to find another scene here. Maybe one with a car or something, or a little more zoomed out. Let's see what it can do with this let's find one with a car. Here we go. This is a good one. Let's try this. We'll start with Rhea and see what it can do with that. Got 12 frames per second. Rhea's pretty, this looks a little too video gamey and smoothed out for my taste. It doesn't quite like make out, you can't really make out the I mean, again, these cars are moving at speed. It does make the fireworks look almost like something. This is like a big mess of stuff here. It just went a little too crazy. Let's try Iris. Let's go for it here. Hit preview. Let's see what Iris can do. I know Iris is better for faces, you know. Sometimes it's just, no, not doing it for me. So this is a tough scene. It definitely looks better than the original in Iris, but you know, it is. I can go in here and let's add in one more here and do. Let's go to 1080p. And try Nix. Nix is good for removing noise. Let's try that one. And I don't really mess around. I just leave it at automatic. Usually kind of knows what to do pretty good. This one did a pretty good job. I would say it's kind of comparable to Rhea. But again, it's definitely cleaned it up. Looks a lot better than the original. So that's always good. And if you want to close out these extra tabs that you opened up here, just X them out. All right, let's go ahead and bring in that 1080p version of the video, and I can show you what going to 4K looks like, and you know what you can expect as far as processing times, that kind of thing, and how long you can kind of, you know, do the math and see how long it could potentially take. So here, obviously, you're starting off with a lot more detail here. This is 1080p video. It's, you know, professionally done, good quality stuff. We can go back to that moment where that troubling moment with the car that we couldn't quite get right earlier. Here we go. Like right there, that actually looks good. And let's take that let's go up to 4K. Actually, let's go side by side here first and we'll keep this one at original, and then over here we'll go to 4K. And then let's go ahead and use Rhea. This is going to be slow. Just warn you. Going from 1080p to 4K takes a lot of processing power. So I'd be surprised if we're getting 3 frames per second here. So if you do the math, a movie is usually shot at 24 frames per second. So that's 6 times slower than a movie. So if a movie's 2 hours long, it's going to take you 12 hours to do it. And I could open my, see, it's about 3 frames per second. That's what I imagined it would be. I can open my, I got a lot of hard drives in this. And yeah, it is using all of the GPU right now. And it's probably spiked at about, I don't know, 4 gigabytes of memory there. I mean, you can zoom in a lot more, and it definitely cleaned it up a little bit. Everything's a little more noisier on this side, and I even zoomed in quite a lot, and you know, the lettering looks a lot more, it looks definitely cleaner. We go to the other car, the Geico looks much clearer. This is a lot more noisy. I'm like zooming in extremely. I mean, remember, this is like that, and I'm going in deep into here. So everything's like, look at that. I mean, everything's cleaned up here on the edge here. So if you absolutely need to take a clip from 1080p to 4K, there's definite benefits to doing so. Obviously, you know, you got to be patient. But there are other models you can try, like you could try Artemis again, high quality, and that can be done a lot faster. Here, let's try here. So we're going up to 4K, and should be a little faster. Artemis runs a little faster, and you don't necessarily need to go to Rhea. I mean, it's not that much faster. It's still 5 frames per second, but you know, still pretty. Let's hit going a little over 6. I mean, you need to pixel peep here, but you can definitely make out a little more detail on his face. You know, the little imperfections here looks, you know, everything's a little more detailed. I mean, you can zoom in a lot, and everything, it just looks so much better. Let's see if you can make out the stitching a little better here. At least it tries to bring out a little more detail. So it is definitely doing a good job, and you know, trying to make this look better. And you know, Artemis, you know, if you're going from good quality 1080p video to 4K, Artemis will do a good job, and it's faster. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Let's try Iris here, and we'll again go to 4K, and I think we'll wrap up the whole 4K demonstration now. Let's see how fast Iris is going to 4K with a 5060 Ti, which is a half decent card. You know, it's mid-range card now, but it's faster than my old 2080 Super. So yeah, not comparable to to Artemis, almost 6 frames per second. But man, I would say it definitely looks a little more detailed in his face. Sweater looks a little less noisy, a little more defined here. You know, honestly, does a really good job. So I think Artemis or Iris would be fine going to 4K. If you probably want the best, you probably go with Rhea. Don't even think about using Starlight. It's crazy amounts of processing power is needed, and it is very slow. If you thought that 3 frames per second for Rhea was slow, I'm lucky to get 0.9 frames per second. You know, you're looking at, if you're doing something that it's over an hour, you're looking at in the days, maybe a day or more to do your processing. Okay, so this is sort of like my, this is my like unfinished storage. My office is like right through that wall there. And as you can see, I have, this is a computer I recently built. It's got like a Ryzen 3900X and a 70, I'm gonna turn it a little. That's a 70, that is a 5070 Ti in there, the Gigabyte. And that is doing the brunt of my Starlight processing for Topaz, local rendering. You need some extreme muscle to get one of these things done in a relatively short period of time. This is just like a media server. This is literally just a bunch of hard drives in here and a kind of like an anemic processor, sort of like my homemade NAS kind of thing. But this is my workhorse for processing stuff in like Topaz. So this is the computer I'll be using. I know it's a little messy down there, but this is my main workhorse computer. I got a 5060 Ti in there and a 3060, two GPUs, you know, feeding out to 6 monitors here. So more, you know, definitely got some horsepower going to this rig as well. I also have my MacBook M4 as well. So I actually made this video myself. I took some clean video and, you know, downscaled it to 480p, and on the left side here I added a bunch of gray, a lot of film barriers, and then the right side here is Starlight. This is processed with Starlight. As you can see, I pretty much managed to remove all the grain, and it looks significantly better. And you know, this is pretty bad. You know, even though it is like self-engineered it managed to clean it up. I could probably call this a torture test, and Topaz's previous models didn't do quite as good a job as this. I mean, this pretty much gets rid of it. I mean, you can see it becomes almost usable. There's a little distortion in it, but it does manage to remove most of the grain. So it's really did a good job here. Okay, so let's talk about Black Friday. A lot of people, you know, rightly, you know, a lot of people have, you know, I've gone through all the Reddit subreddits and stuff about Topaz. I've seen all the people, you know, complain about the new pricing structure of Topaz. You know, it is what it is. You know, they are the ones that develop the software. I for one cannot develop software like this that can do what they can do. Call me whatever you want. I kind of have to defend them. They have a business. They have to keep the lights on. They've come up with this this new subscription model. You know, the one thing I can say is, like, if you want to get into this, now is the time to do it. You got take advantage of the Black Friday sale. You can get up to 43% off. Again, if you get the non-pro license, goes from $399 for a year to $229, and you can do a lot of the things that I showed you, except, you know, you can't do Starlight. At least locally, you can do it in the cloud. But if you want to do, if you want to dabble in Starlight, first of all, you're going to need a more powerful computer, and you're going to need. So here's this is the Pro pricing. So you can get Topaz Pro Studio for $455. So I guess I mean, getting the Studio is the way to go. I mean, you get all the Pro software for less than if you just wanted the Topaz Video Pro license, which I don't understand how that calculation works. You can get all of the software for cheaper than just getting the one you, let's say you just want this Video Pro, but maybe you're not into, you know, photographs and stuff, but I guess this is the way to go. I mean, you just go with Topaz Studio Pro. This is the cheapest way to do it. It is a lot of money. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that $455 is not a lot of money. It is a lot of money. You know, you have to kind of make that calculation. Do I need Starlight? Do you need to? Can you get by with the more normal models, which are significantly faster to process, up to like over 30 frames per second on my rig, or do you need the absolute best? And you have to kind of think. I showed you what Starlight can do, and do you need that? One thing I can see is, like, you subscribe to the 455 one, get it all done within the year, get all the stuff, to do everything you needed to do in that 1 year, and just, you know, consider unsubscribing unless maybe they have another sale or something, or maybe they give you an option to extend your license for, you know, a lot cheaper than this. But if you don't, you can always do the personal one, and for $229, that's not a bad deal. And you can do, you know, you can do your normal upscaling, and you can do Starlight, but you have to do it through the cloud, through those cloud credits, which I haven't done personally. This is the Black Friday sale, so 43% off is the time to do it. This is the cheapest I've seen it recently. If you're going to do it now would probably be the time to do it. And please consider using my, again, I'm going to put my my affiliate code in the description if you found this video helpful at all and you making your decision. If you're going to get, you know, subscribe to this software, I would really appreciate it if you use my my affiliate code. It really helps the channel a lot. And I do get a small portion of every sale. You know what Starlight can do? You kind of just have to think, do I need that? What is the state of the footage I'm trying to do? Do I need the absolute best? You also need to consider that you need a very powerful computer. My computer has a the computer with a 5070 Ti has a 3900X 12-core CPU and the 5070 Ti, 32 gigs of RAM. You know, it's not the most powerful and most cutting-edge system, but the graphics card isn't bad. It's like, I would say above average, and it's doing the job, and it's kind of it's not nipping at the heels at a 5090, but it's not far off. And I think it's a good price to performance ratio. I hope this video helped you out. It was a lot of work to get this done and, you know, test out all the different systems that I have here. Again, if you were interested in purchasing one of these licenses, I would really appreciate it. If you got any value out of this video, please consider using my affiliate link. It's in the description. It really helps me out a lot, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh.